Welcome back, Rage Nation. We have another one. Got Pete playing Hoffman and Chris playing Basse. We're both playing the second title version, so I'm playing the Inventor and whatever the hell Basse is called. Chris ended up, not able to commentate on this one. Had some personal issues that popped up that prevented him from doing so. Just hope everything works out, Chris. That's all I'll say about it. But I bring an interesting Hoffman crew. This is into a flank break the line game. You can see the strategy markers deployed on the center line. Chris is playing the second version of Basse, which is, he's definitely interesting. He ends up bringing a few different things. I'll share what I brought first. So I had to deploy first as the attacker. On the top, you can see I got Hoffman deployed with Marissa, one of the hunters I brought, and then the mechanical attendant. Chris is deploying. He gets to put all of his stuff up, definitely far up, because the more you bring of the keyword for the Basse crew, the more you get to move up the board, which is great for this crew especially. He ended up bringing Basse, Sandworm, Reichart, Rough Rider, 2 Pathfinders, and an Austringer. So he already has those deployed. You can see they're deployed super far up. For me, I'm now deploying the Peacekeeper, which I kind of put in that middle area, which I don't know. The Peacekeeper wants to be in the middle, but that's fine. I have the Pale Rider I just deployed and another Hunter. And you can see I'm putting out my pylon markers. They can't be within 3 of another, I believe it's another, I don't know if it's strategy or whatnot, but Chris didn't have a great hand there. Mine's kind of meh too. It's turn 1. This should be interesting. It's going to be harder the cards. Yeah, this is going to be a fun game for you guys to watch. It's a short one, and you'll see why here. And there will be a little bit of a pause just because these are kind of new crews for me and Chris. Chris, this is his very first game with the second version of Basse. I played Hoffman 2 probably 3 times maybe up to this. So I think he's going to go with one of his Austringers. He gets a little mechanical trap out. He's going to interact with the strategy marker to flip it over to my side. And then I believe he's going to take a shot at Hoffman. And he might have pinged, I think he pings Hoffman here for a couple, yeah. I think he might actually ping him for 1 because, this whole crew, I think he read Joker did. But anyways, armor 2 is good. I activate Hoffman here. So the cool thing about Hoffman is the pylon markers are really good for being reducible damage with his alternating current. So since it's reducible, I pretty much was like, okay, I can just one-shot this stupid trap that's in front of me. Yeah, so it's going to go off. I have enough traps in front of me. It kills the little, or traps in front of me, pylons in front of me. So I just one-shot that with the alternating current. I think we're just talking about some of the things Hoffman does here. So I think up here I'm going to kind of just do bulldoze to move up and create another pylon. And when you do that, as long as I think it's a mass trigger, you get another pylon out. So I was feeling good. I had like 3 pylons out, and I got to like draw a card too. So because I think I'm going to destroy one of these here. Yep, I destroyed that one. Just draw a card, which maybe I should have left it. I don't know. I don't know how much the draw card is going to do for me. And then I ended up taking, I think I took a shot at, who did I take a shot at? I can't remember. But anyways, he's looking at going at Basse. Oh no, I think I only got 2 actions because I think I was slow because of, I don't know, we'll see. This crew Basse puts out slow, which is definitely annoying. Chris is activating Basse, and he's going to do this stupid whirlwind thing, which apparently it removes markers. So that was fun. That was fun to see. I was like, oh, so you're just going to remove all my pylons. Great. Fantastic. So I guess he just has his little whirlwind that's just going around and messing up my pylons. And then he ends up taking a shot at Hoffman. He's going to put some damage on him. And that's kind of what you want to do when you play against Hoffman. You just have to ping him for damage. So I end up charging with Melissa, and I'm going to take a shot at his stupid little Austringer. Let me make sure I'm calling it the right thing here. Sorry, Pathfinder. It's not an Austringer. His Austringer is in the building. So Melissa charges, she gets a power token. Does some damage. It's like, yes. I think the blast gets it here, but Chris determines that it doesn't. He's like, no, it doesn't. Trust me, and he takes a picture of it. Like, I don't believe you. Get that crap out of here. I almost threw his phone off the table there. Alright, so anyways, I do a couple damage. I end up taking another shot, and I kill the Pathfinder. So right off the bat, we kind of see the benefit of Hoffman's crew, how tanky it is, and also how much damage it can put out, even at range. Which I brought Melissa because I knew he was going to have these little shooting people, and Melissa's just good at kind of mowing them down. And we figured out that one of the pylons wouldn't have got removed. The sandworm's moving and it's charging. I think he's just trying to do as much damage to Hoffman as possible. Which this version of Hoffman, I definitely don't feel very scared about putting out in the front. Just because he's solid, he's durable. Oh no, there was I think it was a quicksand trigger, and it ended up giving slow to Hoffman and Melissa. So I move the mechanical attendant up, heal Hoffman. So Hoffman's back to just one wound on him, which is good. You really, when you play against Hoffman and Augmented, you really need to kill the support healing pieces, just because it can just wreck your day. Bernadette's going. I think Bernadette's just going to get ready to interact with that strategy down at the bottom. Kicks up dust. I end up going with one of the hunters. I move and charge. Charging the sandworm, just trying to put out damage. I love the power tokens just because being able to flip for positives, like you saw my hand wasn't hot, but being able to just flip for positives when you want it, or getting the suit you want when you have the card, is just good. So I ended up just putting some damage on him. Sandworm's actually hurting pretty good. He's going with the rider. He did ride with me, and he's going to take a couple shots at Hoffman, which, like I said, I'm not really scared, because even if he gets a couple of good cracks, probably only putting 1 damage a shot on Hoffman. Okay, ends up moving right car and then interacts with the Austringer. I think he tried to put some damage on the Peacekeeper too. I forget what we're looking up here. I think we're looking up engaged or something. I think Chris was trying to see if he was getting friendly fire for something. And yeah, it ended up not making a big deal. Chris was also taking down notes because we thought we were going to have to get him on here later and record just kind of off that. You'll see here in a minute he stops taking them because we're like, oh yeah, we can just have you do it. It's fine. which definitely like having both of us on. But like I said, just there was a family thing that popped up for Chris that made it where he couldn't record the audio for this. We'll get his thoughts when he's on the podcast about this game. All right, so I think we're figuring out who kind of went where. And yeah, you see he puts it down. We're like, all right, we're just going to play. Let's do it. Which I think he has a Pathfinder left, maybe? I don't know. I go with the Hunter. I decide to move and charge. You'll see in a minute here that I meant for that to be base to base, so it's got to be base to base with the strategy because I'm not an idiot. I'm just remembering how to play this. So I do end up doing a crap ton of damage, but apparently Bernadette's hard to wound, so I don't kill her. There you go. That's where I move her base to base. I was like, oh yeah, that's where it's supposed to be. Okay, Chris is just trying to figure out how to deal with the robots. Kicks up dust. Peacekeeper's going up. I decided to just move the Peacekeeper up in between those two pylon markers I deployed down there. And I just concentrate with them. I'm like, I didn't want Reichart to come in and, you know, just start smashing face with the Peacekeeper. I don't know how that interaction would go, but I didn't want to just give him a charge. I wanted him to go and then charge. Reichart does a little damage to Hoffman, not a lot. I ride with me with the rider, and then I charge the sandworm. And I'm just thinking here, like, hey, if I can get this thing dead, money. I think by the end of this, the sandworm's only down to like 2 hit points. It's definitely not good. Oh no, so I didn't ride with me up. What I did is I moved up, charged, and then I did the bonus action, Revel in Death or whatever. And I healed up Hoffman to basically full, which was super good. So I'm definitely feeling good here. I feel like I'm set up. If Chris doesn't win this, he has a... Okay, that's a better hand. My hand's kind of meh. Chris gets to move some stuff during the phase. Chris ends up winning it, and he decides to go with the Sandworm before it dies, which this is a decent Sandworm activation. I think here he's attacking my Hunter. Yep. And Hunters are armor too. So I brought 2 Hunters in this list just because they're mobile and they're tanky and they can move the strategy for break the line. And I've said a couple times I don't imagine a world where I bring 2 of them. Well, in this strat, I brought 2 of them. I think I'm trying to decide what to do here. Oh, this is where he did the quicksand, and I had to test to see if I was slow. And I made it where the rider wasn't slow because I wanted both those activations. And anyways, he ended up bearing with Sandworm, so at least I didn't have to deal with him for a while. Going with Hoffman here. I'm going to bulldoze to remove some markers. And I got to put some scraps out too. Just to get those stupid kick up dust markers out of the way. Plus I got to put a pylon out, which pylon's the big part. And you're going to see me drop it. I think I'm going to drop it in the back here. Yep. Yep, so then with that, I'm going to end up doing my current, which I kind of like the standoff I was in. I wanted to kind of pick him off and bring him into my crew. I didn't want to overextend. So I'm waiting for him to either overcommit Reichart or overcommit Basse, and then I want to go into him that way. So I'm going to end up shooting, I think, Basse here twice. I think I was going to shoot at Reichart, but there's concealment because of the strategy marker. And I wanted to draw a card there because you saw my hand wasn't very good, so I moved the pylon up, and now I'm going to take a couple shots. We'll take a shot with alternating current onto Basse. And that's it with Hoffman. I didn't get a lot because I believe he might have been slow. It was either last turn or this turn. Ended up being slow with Hoffman, which definitely doesn't feel good. Alright, so I think Chris is going with Bernadette here. Yeah. He's just trying to get something out of her before she dies. And now that she's activated, he got the trigger to heal her, but I cheated above it so it didn't go off because I had her down past the hard to kill mark. So basically now I just have to hit her once and she's dead. But there's nothing else down there, so I'm just going to leave that till a later activation. It's nothing I have to worry about right now. So I charge with Melissa. I'm going to get some shots. Taking some shots at old Basse here. Just trying to put some pressure on his master. I think we're talking about concealing here because I think first I want to shoot Raycart, but yeah, I moved past it. So just putting little damage. I mean, the gun's good. I mean, it ends up putting 2, maybe 4 damage on Basse. At least just to make him cautious of coming in. Just make him think like, oh crap, if I go in too hard, you know, I could really get my crap, you know, kicked. Plus, my stuff's armored too. I'm really, with Basse's crew, yeah, they have some good guns. But being armored too, I don't care a ton about that. So I think Chris is coming back at me here with Basse. And keep in mind, this is literally, Chris has played the original Basse a few times. This is literally the first time he dropped the second iteration of Basse, the title. So I think he's just trying to figure out also just what the hell Basse does. Okay, let's see here. Oh, he decided to do the rider instead. So he did ride with me. He brought, I think that's a Pathfinder. I think he's trying to set up a Pathfinder shot, and he's just trying to somehow just whittle my armored models down. Yep. Continues to shoot Hoffman. I think Hoffman's got 3 on him now. I just activated the Hunter. I took a swipe at Bernadette, killed her, interacted, and that's it. So, good activation from the Hunter, getting me a point. Turn 2, getting me a point. That's all you need. Got to get 1 point from the strat. Nothing's coming down there. Okay. Trying to see where we are right here. Oh, he's taking shots at Hoffman, I believe. Yep. So he took shots at Hoffman. He put some damage on, and then I'm activating, I believe, the mechanical tendon here. Yep. So I basically heal Hoffman up, and then I'm going to take the surprise shot at Basse. And I ended up doing nothing because I only flipped, well, I flipped a 13, but Chris flipped a 12, and he's better. The surprise shot doesn't work from the attendant. So Basse is going to come into Melissa. Does some damage here. The shackles thing has this interesting mechanic where you can put conditions out. I think he ends up putting slow. You actually get to choose between like slow, stunned, and staggered, I believe. It's like he's shackling you up. Cheating just so I don't take as much damage with things. Basse also has challenge, so that's interesting, I guess. Okay, let's see here. Where are we going now? Basse is, I don't know. I'd have to look more at this Basse. I don't know if he's as impressive as the other one. But we'll see. You'll see by the end of this turn. So anyways, we get into it. Peacekeeper moves up. It's going to interact with that to put it back on the center line. So we start getting to this point, and I'll just kind of finish talking about it because you can see we only have a couple minutes left. So we start talking it out here, and this is basically just Chris's rage quit. He starts looking at the board, he starts looking at all the non-damage he's been putting on my models, and he wants to call it there because looking at this, I have armor 2, I'm starting to really kill his stuff. Basse is in the middle of a lot of my beers. I still have the rider and still have the hunter to go. I think at this point he just has Reichart, and he's just, I'm going to overwhelm him just by armor. The only thing that has armor piercing is I think the Pathfinders might have a trigger for it. If not, maybe, I think it is the Pathfinders. But even then, just the way this was playing out and the cards flipping, and we're just like, I'm going to take the center, I'm going to start pushing you back, and I'm going to heal up the damage, and it's going to end up going poorly. The strategies he took didn't help, or sorry, the schemes he took didn't help him either. I ended up taking Vendetta, and I took Vendetta on Reichart, which I would get, and I took Claim Jump with one of the hunters. I think Chris ended up taking, I think it was Vendetta, and then I think he might have also took Claim Jump, but ends up giving up. Just, he was so pissed. He's just like, I can't deal with this shit. And yeah, thanks for supporting us. It was a short one. I hope you enjoyed it. Hoffman's definitely a fun guy. I mean, you can see he did some cool things there. Just kept on taking in the chin. Basse does some cool things, but definitely, like the original, has some bad matchups. But make sure that you guys are checking us out, support us directly at patreon.com/RageQuitWire so we can keep putting out this awesome content. Make sure that you also like, subscribe, share, and yeah, we're going to keep putting out these videos, going to keep putting out different Malifaux content. That way, everybody that's fiending for it can get it. We'll have a longer battle report next time, I promise. Listen next episode when Chris rage quits. Peace.